Hey guys, Bam here. So today I want to talk about why you should be running small linear maps with high density of monsters instead of large spread out maps. So first off, you will be running more maps per hour if you actually run small linear maps. And also there will be less walking back to whatever you are doing or like opening doors and stuff like that. You want to avoid opening doors and walking back as it will be pretty much time you're not killing monsters, not interacting with mechanics or whatever, so pretty much losing your time. There are a lot of reasons why you want to run more maps per hour, aside of not wasting your time, as I said earlier, not walking back and stuff like that. There's a bunch of league mechanics or like random mechanics that got introduced in 3.25 that are totally random, so you have no outcome out of it, but they're actually pretty good. So if you run more maps, you have more chances of encountering those mechanics. Also, bosses always drop some stuff that they have the higher chance of dropping a map, so running more maps per hour means we'll drop more maps on average. So this is nothing to scoff at. Okay, so I'll give some of the mechanics that you have nothing on your atlas that can actually change the percentage of chance to get those. So the more maps you will do, the more chances of encountering those mechanics. I'll just give a brief description of how they work because some of them are returning mechanics. First is of course the link mechanic. So per map you should be getting one or two of the ore. So yeah, it's important that you run as many maps as possible if you want to get a bunch of ores. If not, if you, let's say, run a map every 10 minutes or so, it will be pretty hard to sustain the ore needed unless you play like a madman. But yeah, so there's something. And also, if you have the mining max upgraded to the max level, it also gives you an amount of gold equal to the ore you collected. And of course, the link mechanics, sometimes you can actually encounter the Black Knight. So this is the Starfall hole. You have to keep in mind that killing the Black Knight gives you a bunch of runes, including the power runes, and also it gives you some of the highest tier of ore. Also, if you have the highest um, level of mining, you also get a bunch of gold. So yeah, it's pretty good. We have access to runes from this boss, and also his shield, which in my opinion is one of the best items from this league. And yeah, if you get a high rolled shield, it can sell for a couple of divines, and the power runes are like 5 to 7 divine, depending on what day you actually look at this. Alright, next we have the Sentinels. So we have three different colors. Here is the red one. So in order to use the red one, you just press F2. It doesn't matter where you press it. It will like buff the monsters and give them some chances of getting an actual reward. Sometimes you will have currency, sometimes maps, some other stuff like that. It will tell you when you pick it up, and yeah, the way you use it is just by using F2. And then as you can see here, we got a bunch of stuff from it. It's nothing crazy, but I've gotten at least 5 divines this league from doing just this, so yeah, it can help a lot. The red one is the most straightforward. We'll see the others. So the blue sentinel is pretty similar. It gives you some rewards, so some chances of having those rewards, but there's a big difference. In order to use the blue sentinel, it's a one-shot deal, and you want to gather as many mobs as possible and then use it there. As you can see on the screen right now, and then it will drop a bunch of stuff. As you can see, some maps, some currency, some stack decks. So yeah, it can be a good uh, boost to your farm just by using it correctly. The blue one is a bit different because you need to stack, but then again, the rewards are pretty much the same thing, depending on which mod it has on it. So again, with the blue sentinel, you want to gather as many mobs as possible together and then press F2. Alright, last but not least, the yellow sentinel. So this one is pretty similar to the red one, but we only target the rare and unique monsters. So you can use it whenever, And as it finds some rare of unique monsters, it will give them a reward. As you can see here, we got a bunch of currency from it. We still have 3 charges on it, and as we find rare or unique monsters, we will actually lose a charge. Again, we got reward here on the beast. Yeah, it was only a Valor, but sometimes it will, as I said, it will be a divine or anything. So yeah, it can be useful, especially if you use it on bosses. But now, as you can see, I just wasted some of the charge. But yeah, it's pretty similar to the red one. We'll only target the rare or unique monsters. Alright, next we have 2 encounters which are pretty similar in how you actually find them. But they're totally different. So the first one is the Nameless Seer. So in order to find the Nameless Seer, you have to kill all the monsters of a certain type if it had spawned on your map. So it's random, you cannot know, there's no ways to actually find out if Nameless Seer is present on your map or not, but the way you actually find it is if you kill all of the monsters that actually carry the Nameless Seer tag, we would say. Like it's a hot potato, they throw it around, and then when you kill the last of those monsters, if the Nameless Seer was in your map, it will appear. The same thing for the reflecting mist. So again, you kill all the monsters of a certain type, and then the reflecting mist will appear. So yeah, if you have tight maps and don't actually skip half the map, you will encounter way more Nameless Seer and reflecting mist. Reflecting mist is really a hit or miss because most of the time it will be garbage what it actually offers you, but sometimes you will get the reflecting mist item, which is worth like 6 or 7 divines. And yeah, the Nameless here, again, it's cool because you can scry a map. Let's say, for example, at the beginning of the league, I was running Defiled Cathedral a ton until I actually found it there, and then I scried it over my dune. So now, whenever I run dunes, I have a chance of getting the divination cards from the Defiled Cathedral, but I have a good layout that I actually enjoy doing. So this is something super cool. The other thing is that it will offer you a bunch of uniques. Most of the time will not be anything super good, but sometimes you can stumble upon, let's say, a Mage Blood or anything, or some like 1 divine or 2 divines unique. So yeah, it can be a good way to make some more currency. And as I said, if you run small layouts, it will happen way more often because you will not be skipping some pack of monsters and actually annulling your chances of getting either the Nameless Seer or the Reflecting Mist. So here's the clip of when I found the Nameless Seer and I scried the Dune map. So now it can actually drop the divination card from the Defiled Cathedral. And now one of the time I found a Reflecting Mist. As you can see, the items are pretty bad, but sometimes it will actually be something good. So here's an example of a bad map layout. So terrace is pretty long, and also the boss has many phases. So this is something you want to skip as much as possible. But sadly, I was running influence like Cyrus Guardian maps, so the Citadels. So I had like it's random what you get right when they actually drop. But for me, for example, the best one would always be to run Dune because they can drop apothecary cards now since I have the divination cards from Defiled Cathedral. But yeah, I just wanted to show you how bad it can be. So it takes more time to finish the map. You have less chance of encountering whatever the mechanics because you will be skipping packs for sure. It's pretty linear, but again, it has like 2 lanes, so if you skip some monsters, you have less chances of getting the Nameless Seer or the Reflecting Mist. Yeah, so it takes more time, you will be running less maps. There's pretty much no reason to run such maps unless you're targeting something specific to the map, let's say a Divination card or a Seer or something like that. Try it over another map. But yeah, as you can see, I'm wasting a lot of time into killing a lot of useless monsters. But so that's why you should always be running the best maps you have, and actually only only run those maps if you have no other choices. Let's say you need the Atlas points, or you ran out of maps or something like that. But even then, I would buy the better maps instead. As you can see, like straight up getting to the boss takes me like 2 minutes, a bit more than 2 minutes, and then I haven't started the boss again. And since the boss has multiple phases, it will take some time before we actually get there. There is also the wildwood I didn't talk about, but personally I just can't stand the wisp mechanics, so that's why I I didn't even interact with it. So whenever I see it, I just skip it over. But again, it's a random encounter, so the more maps you do, the more chances of getting there. So if you don't know, the wisps are just a small pit that you sometimes encounter, similar to the Dark Knight. But then again, you have to run the whole wildwood, and it takes a while to collect all the wisps, and then it adds just minimal stuff to your map. I don't think it's actually worth. Maybe someone has some strategy that is actually worth running, but personally, I had like pretty much wasted my time every time I went into the wildwood. To me, it just adds like a lot of time to your map, and instead, I would just rather run more maps per hour instead of interacting with the wildwood. All right, to sum it up, run as fast as you can in your maps, run as many as possible. You will make way more currency, and you will encounter random stuff more often. Well, personally, this is what I've been doing, and it's been super great. If you have any other opinion on how like it could be better to run some maps slower or stuff like that, just let me know in the comments. And hopefully this video was helpful to you. If it was, consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, take care, guys.